I'm dead. I'm wicked, wicked king, making paper whoppers. I'm a paperhead. Ding, ba, da, da.
I like it.
Welcome in, everybody. Season 5, Race 4, Misano. It is a little wet. Josh, Nate, glad to have you guys with me in the booth here. How are we doing tonight?
I am doing pretty good.
That is what I like to hear. We got some exciting racing for the D5 boys tonight. Everyone probably has had a lot of seat time over the last week. We had Indianapolis last week. If you missed that, check that out on the YouTube. We also had the SRA 1K of Indy celebrating 1-year anniversary, 1,000 Discord members. It was a great race. I had a blast. Nate, I know you did not participate in it, but Josh, any words of advice for someone going into that solo?
Good rule of thumb for trying to avoid bathroom breaks is minimize fluids. Take that as daring as you will.
Yes, that is definitely a good idea right there. So,
But don't forget your snacks.
yes, need snacks, chocolate bars, keep that sugar level up. Definitely good. But we're not doing an endurance race tonight. We have a 1-hour long race. Let's jump right into qualifying. As the silver drivers are out on the track right now. If you're new to SRA, the way it works is the silver drivers will go out for the first 10 minutes of qualifying, and then our gold drivers will come out for the second half of the 20-minute qualifying session. 10 minutes each. If you see a purple number plate in game, which I think we don't have any red number plates. Not purple, red. Don't think we have any red number plates this time around. But welcome to week 4, Misano wet. It shall be some very, very exciting races here.
It definitely will be. And Misano, in and of itself as a track, brings a whole bunch of good, well, just good racing in a nutshell. There's a wide variety of flow here, from long straights into heavy braking zones to the 3-stage right-handers, where it's all about how much can you stick the car in there and how late can you push the braking zone at the end, to very tight hairpins at the end that'll catch you out if you use just too much curb, but if you don't use any, you'll be too slow. So
Yeah,
adding the rain to the mix is gonna give everybody a little bit of an extra challenge. I know most of the grid is looking forward to it, which is unusual for a rain race, as a lot of people tend to not enjoy driving in the wet. But it's good to see the crowd is excited.
I tell you what, I'm very excited for the upcoming D3 race. This is one of my favorite tracks. Now, what I've noticed throughout practicing throughout the week, right? So there was a light variation of rain. There's a medium and a heavy. I haven't experienced the heavy yet, but I have experienced the medium rain. And this track is a little sketchy, I guess is the right word for it. Especially the back straight where you got a high speed braking zone. It is going to be very interesting. I am praying for light rain. But it's definitely going to be good. I have to say, just looking at the board right now, like our P1 currently has a 148.5. It's pretty good. Looks to kind of looks like they got the media brain. Who knows? Dryline could form up pretty quick. Could stop raining. There's always that 2% chance that the race is dry, but we'll see. We'll see how that works.
Yeah, the good old, well, as some people call it, the SRA rain race, where you don't really know if you're going to get any rain at all.
Yep.
But
TMA coming in with a 148.2. He's just gonna keep dropping.
And you know who?
Yeah, as that dry line starts to form.
It is
That's
definitely drying up very nice. I'm sure the gold drivers are going to appreciate it. But I tell you what, I'm very happy with Patches O'Houlihan putting down a 148.5. That's a pretty good time.
Yeah,
That is very nice to see.
I'm glad to see it. You love to see it. That was my former teammate. Whenever I was in D4 last season, and he was a great guy to drive with. So I'm definitely stoked to see him actually setting a little pace here.
Yeah, you're a former teammate, my new teammate, and a little shout out to Ghost Rider Racing.
Hey.
Gotta love it. It should be a good race.
Awesome.
I watched him practice throughout the week. His pace seemed to be pretty decent in the rain here. One of my favorite things about racing in the rain as it is, it evens the playing field, right? It really sets the standard. Like, anything's possible. Anything can happen. One little tiny mistake, braking on one curb just the wrong way, that's it. That could take you from P1 down to in this case P32. So
all it takes.
It doesn't take much. A little too much throttle, but it's crazy. I think we're going to be getting down once we get to the gold drivers. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some low 147s, possibly maybe some mid 146s, depending on how dry the track can turn out after this first 10 minutes of qualifying here.
Yeah, and that's certainly something to definitely watch out for. And even just kind of harkening back to Josh's comments last race at Indianapolis about tire management, there's a lot about this track that reminds me of Indianapolis. So I think the tire management in this particular instance comes into play a lot too. You have a lot of turns without much embankment, without much berm to them. You have some heavy straightaways and heavy braking points. So I think a lot of what Josh had mentioned about that tire management is really going to come into play here at Misano as well.
Yeah, that it definitely can. Maybe not too much during an hour-long race, but if this track was dry and it was a hot day, definitely could eat through a set of tires relatively quickly on this. So as we're looking, currently 148. Oh, there's our first 147. Seamaster.
And it's a low one.
It is a very low 147.
147.2.
That is a very, very nice time. Fastest sector 3 as well. Our sector 2 is held by Jay Finkley, and Tima has sector 1. I think times, as everyone's probably on their last lap right around here, might have a handful of drivers able to probably squeeze another lap in here. I think the times are really going to start dropping here.
Yeah,
there is
I think
almost
quickly.
Almost everyone is up on their times right now. I see Fisher up almost a second on his time right here. Losing a little bit. See how they handle the braking zone. Very tricky very tricky braking point.
Tima, who originally was the record holder for the quickest lap there, still hasn't put down a valid lap yet.
Yeah, you are right. And they're in the pits. That is very unfortunate here. Looks like Patches was able to get one more lap in as well.
It's that rain getting to you. We're talking about how little it is to make the car slip away. You see the time start dropping, you think, oh, if they can go that fast, I can go that fast, and just a little bit too much, and
Yep.
off into the
Very
grass.
very easy to overdo it here. And there's our first 146.
Oh,
146
smokes.
270 from
A whole
Cube Master.
second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I take my statement back. I think they got the light rain, because that is a tough time to put down if it was super heavy rain. This track seems to hold a lot of water, kind of like Suzuka. Suzuka turn 1, you get that crazy puddle that drifts right across the track. It's the worst. It's
That's
the worst
right.
in the world. But yeah, that's that is one heck of a lap time right there. That is something to
No
be proud
kidding.
of. But
in the span of one lap, he shaved off an entire second off of what we thought was an incredibly impressive lap, 147.29. Master comes in with a 146.27.
and it is possible we're going to see some 145s here. But as the gold drivers are on their out laps, warming up their tires, let's take a quick look at the team standings. So up at the top, we have Lightning Sharks in first place with 351 points. Then we have Sometimes Maybe Blind, 275 points in second. Third place, Virtual Safety Car, 255 points. Ghost Rider Racing, Cheaper Than Therapy, what a lovely name, 249 points, currently in fourth. And sitting in fifth place is V-Day with 236 points. And I gotta say that the top, I'm gonna say top 8. Top 8's 1 point out of, away from 200 here, but it's still really anyone's game. We're only halfway through the season here. There is many points to be gained. And if we take a look at our driver standings, your top 4 drivers, Jacob Zitkow, 209 points. Aaron Bryan, 201 points. Very close battle right there. 2 people to definitely keep an eye on. Third place, we got Joe in the Porsche with 177 points. Rigatoni coming in fourth with 156 points. And Harris Channing holding down your fifth position with 153 points. And again, very close. Anyone's driver's championship, especially with a rain race, anything can happen. It's going to be very interesting to take a look and watch everything here.
I completely agree, and there's one extra element to this week's nab back at the bit that I'm sure everyone's going to be extra hungry for, and that is the now noticeable absence of Sean and Alex. There are now the top 2 positions in points up for grabs.
That is
essentially
very true.
And those 2 positions, I think the top 3 are all over 100 points. And that can help in a championship fight.
Yes, it will definitely be nice having someone, a minute and a half, out of your division. If anyone is wondering what happened, there were some updates when it comes to everyone's rating in the game. 2 drivers got moved up. I actually think some people got moved up to D4 as well too. I don't have that list in front of me, but I believe we have 2 new drivers, if I'm not mistaken. And
I'm not too sure, but there were a bunch of people who got moved up and down, and we tried to do it as early as possible so that you can still be competitive in whatever championship you move to, because unfortunately your points don't carry over from division to division.
Yep.
But it is what it is. A bit of an outlier, and I'm sure as much as it's nice to win, it's not nice when you're not racing anybody.
That is very true. And it looks like Schultz is going to be taking P1 currently with a 146.065. Let's see if he can improve on that lap time, drop it down to a 145. Would be very impressive. Somebody that is improving on their lap time is Brian in the Aston Martin. Up currently 3,000? 4? Can I get a 5? Oh, we're going back down to 3. But it's a good push. It's a very nice push. As they are coming down the back straight here. I have to say, Josh, you drove the Aston. How was it? Seems like a very stable car in the wet.
It honestly really likes the wet because the Aston has a lot of torque, but in the dry it really struggles with understeer, and in the wet it's very prone to oversteer because of that torque. So if you've got a good foot for the accelerator, you can really make that thing move around a wet racetrack.
Hmm. Well, it looks like Chabdu's up 6/10 on his time as well. If he can hold in there, this could be a very, very good lap for him. Definitely will jump up a decent amount of positions. Probably put him up towards the top 5. He is hauling. I see Daniel's got our first 145. Oh, our second 145, sorry. Crossling also got a 145.9, but Daniel's with a low 145.2. Very nice to see.
That's right, and still not without all of the best sectors either. So Schultz in third position with the Ferrari has the best sector 1. Now, the interesting thing to see, you're asking about the Aston, as it does tend to like the rain. The mid-engine cars have the top 5 locked out.
You know, that is very, that is very true right there. I'm surprised to not see. Ah, you got 2 Astons up there. Chabdu moving his way up to 6th position. Very nice to see. See if Daniels can get a good solid lap in here. It looks like he's about 5 seconds down on his time.
And Rigatoni's currently up 6/10 on his lap time. Coming into, it looks like sector 3.
At a 146.7 right now, so really holding down that 5th spot for Rigatoni. If he can just stay consistent tonight, I think he's got a real shot for the podium.
I definitely can see that happening there. I think my pick, and it's not just because it's one of my teammates, but I think Daniels is going to lock this down. If he could stay consistent, he will be rolling in with a P1. I have faith in him. I got faith. I would like to see Houlihan finish at least top 10. That's my number 2 pick right there. Gotta
Sure,
pick
yeah.
my boys.
And a 145.2 for Daniels. I mean, that's a pretty good bet.
It is by far the quickest time. Almost getting down to the 44s there. Just pushing close towards the D3 times.
Yeah, and that's the hard part about the rain, is you don't really know what each division's pace is because every session is so different.
Yep. And
That's a
Rodriguez
great point.
almost a full second up on his time. Another Aston Martin here. Now he's over a second. Let's see if he could hang on to it here. He's coming down the back straightaway. Very high speed, very easy to kind of hydroplane the car when it gets very wet, very puddly. But seems to manage it very well. Coming into that heavy braking zone. Back on the throttle.
Oh, wow. And Meyer just kind of takes a detour as he's on the track of Cockcroft. And Cockcroft able to build a little bit of a gap between him and Meyer, who was really coming up on him very quick.
As Rodriguez crosses the line, where does he end up? P3. What a run. What a run. So we got our top 3, Daniels, Crossling, and Rodriguez, all in the 145 range. Schultz not far behind them on a 146, basically a 146 flat.
Yeah,
tinkering right on that edge. He's down about a 10th right now, but let's see if he can pull this together here in the Ferrari. Making up some time. It's looking good.
And in the background, Stedman in the BMW currently pushing. Oh, and as soon as I mentioned that, he was up 6/10 on his lap time. He's
Everyone's
he's gaining some back now.
gonna be getting their last couple laps. And he crosses the line. There it is. There's the 145.6. Very respectable. Taking P3, knocking Rodriguez down to P4. Don't really
Stedman clips a
see...
46.9 to bring himself up to P10. And the pip sees Dan Meyer. Where does he come home?
We got Bryant still up just a little bit.
Invalid.
See Rigatoni pushing as well. Kind of gaining and losing a little bit. Looks like Aoki went off. His lap's finished. Last person on track here. Will he make up some time? Just a little bit, but it unfortunately will not be enough. What a good qualifying session. I'm very impressed. We saw 430 or 445s. That's pretty dang quick, especially for the wet at Misano.
Yeah, there's a lot of very capable drivers in this division, and those times reflect that, pushing the absolute limits of their cars in what proves to be a very short qualifying session with the new 20-minute format.
Yeah, and I got to say that the 20-minute qualifying, I like having that little bit of extra buffer room, but it really only gives you a couple laps, maybe 2 to 3 solid laps, like we were talking about at Indianapolis. But, you know, maybe in the wet you have a little bit more leniency because you could run your tires a little bit warmer to get them up to temperature quicker, but it is definitely a tough track to go through. And speaking of the track, let's take a look at the track map. As we take a look at Sector 1 coming down the straight over the start-finish line, you got a nice hard braking zone into Turn 1. Want to really kind of hang off to the right side for Turn 2. Get your car slowed up, center up in the track, cut the curb early for Turn 3. As you're coming back towards the tail end of Sector 1, you have a very, very difficult turn. Wouldn't be surprised to see a couple people overshoot this, but hard on the brakes for Turn 4. Really can push the track limits here into Turn 5, and then hammer down Turn 6. You got your first straightaway in Sector 2. You got a nice little bit of a hairpin turn for Turn 8. Again, back on the power. Then you have a really tricky braking point for Turn 9. I've noticed almost like half braking this one and downshifting nice and smooth and kind of hitting that late apex into the hairpin for Turn 10. Seems to be the quickest for me. Use all the track for the end of Sector 2 coming down the back stretch. You have a nice little curb to hit at Turn 11, and then you have by far the hardest braking point on the track into Turn 12, into 13. I don't want to say could. We're definitely going to see a couple people go off here. It's very easy to hit a bump, get the car sideways just a little bit. It's a very dangerous section of the track. High speed, you're full throttle, and then you're kind of easing onto the brakes a little bit. That brings us down into Turn 14, another little bit of a tricky one, and really the last whole second half of Sector 3 can be a little bit tricky. A lot of back-to-back apexes that you got to hit between Turn 14, 15, and 16, and then power back down and come across the line. It shall be an exciting race. Guys, I gave you my picks today. Who are you guys watching today?
My money is on Rodriguez. Gotta love me an Aston.
Yep. All right. I could see that too. It's a very stable, nice, good wet weather car. I'm sad to say there's BMWs are just one of them breaking the top 10 here, but the only two Beamers on the field actually too.
I gotta stick with my man Rigatoni. I got a good feeling about him this time. He came out last week and he had some really solid hot laps. Wasn't quite able to string them together, but this week, I feel it's going to be a different story. So yeah, rigatoni all the way.
Rigatoni is a very, very solid choice. I enjoyed watching a lot of his races last season as well. I'm gonna stick with Daniels. It's gonna be interesting though. You know, turn one's gonna be tricky. There could be cars coming to complete dead stops. You know, tires are gonna be relatively cold. It's not easy to warm them up to begin with, especially while doing one full formation lap in the rain. You can't really, you know, weave the car back and forth too much to try to get them tire pressures up. But yeah, it's should be an interesting turn one. It looks like we're
Definitely.
starting to go double file here shortly.
I think that
Oh
may
no,
just be
not yet.
people
Yep.
bunching up to get hard on their brakes, but you bring up this tough braking zone as the cars are getting up to, just slowly getting up to it. I believe that's turn 12 into 13.
Yes.
And that typical racing line, I don't know, in my opinion, in the dry, you cut across 12's apex and brake on the curb. And even in the wet, you can slightly get away with it. But with this much standing water in the race conditions, it's going to be interesting to see how many drivers, or if any drivers, forget or don't think ahead
Yep.
about how much extra water is going to be there, because that'll throw the car right off the track.
I think it's gonna be probably
I
the
hope
best.
it's not just a procession into the sand.
Yeah. Yep. But
I mean, it would be funny to look at, but not conducive racing.
no. But as we go too wide here, we are gonna get ready to cross the line and start our race. All the drivers are ready to roll as we go green. Coming down, Daniels in P1. Can he hold it? Can he get a good start? Looks like a nice, so far, good turn one, good turn two. Don't really see any mayhem back there. That's a nice clean race start.
Even the back end is looking for a little bit of a pileup, but nobody's spinning out on the back half of the track either.
And they must have took a tip from the D6 guys, because they've had some of the cleanest racing all
You love to see
season.
it. As a D6 driver myself, hey, it's been a pleasure to be a part of.
Oh, looks like we got a pass coming in for second place here. They're gonna exchange a little bit here. Can that Aston hold that line? Oh, we got a nice little three-way battle here as the cars are starting to file up a little bit. See some people sticking their noses in down to the picture. Yeah. Looks like a little bit of a backup. Maybe some contact there.
Yeah, a little bit of a touch and go on what was that? 22 and 23. Looks like Stephen Brule and Fisher. But they've since made up and are continuing on.
As our leaders are starting to spread out a little bit here.
Oh, and a big drift from Rodriguez in the infamous turn 12.
Looks like he's dropping down the ladder there. Oh,
he stopped off the side of the track there.
Oh, and Stephen Brule takes out Rogers. There's a big pileup in the back half.
That infamous turn 12 strikes again.
And two more drivers go off on the side.
Man, and they are just dropping down the ladder here. Let's take a look back
and
and
one goes off.
See exactly what happened here. Oh, looks like Rodriguez spun out and just gets nailed. That's going to be big damage. Very, very unfortunate. You hate to see it. Absolutely hate to see it.
Yeah, it happened all across the grid, I feel like, on the same section of turns.
Yeah, like I said, that's going to be a tricky spot. People are very anxious. You got to be very, very patient when you're racing in the rain here.
Yeah, you really got to wait for your moment. And Fong making a move on the inside. Fisher almost passes him, but has to back away at last second.
Yeah, I gotta say the track is definitely wet, but it doesn't look terrible.
Oh, it definitely looks like those cars are doing their job and doing their secondary job and pushing all that water away.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see if we get a little bit of a dry line, maybe 20 minutes into the race here, depending on how the weather holds out. And
Oh, and keeping the theme with the picture-in-picture,
oh,
Fisher just runs in, just absolutely takes out Brule from behind, removing him from the race. Brule's just waiting for his time. He's trying to figure out what went wrong because he was on the optimal line, and now he has severe rear end damage. We also see, who was that? Was that Paulie? And the pink in the rear also turned about on the track. The wet conditions are just taking their toll on drivers.
they
all across the
are.
grid
I've
right
seen
now.
a lot of the gold drivers tumbling down the order there, especially at that start. But it looks like even Rogers kind of found his footing again here. Coming back up, Rodriguez right in front of him, about a second. Oop, looks like someone's going into the pits early.
Yeah, and that looks to be Rodriguez going in for
Yeah.
some damage repairs. Too tough to continue, and that side impact in the front, I mean, that's definitely some steering damage.
Yeah, no question.
Well,
Nothing you can work through there, especially in the wet.
I gotta say, we're at lap 2 here. Fastest time's a 1:47 right now, about a second faster than everybody else. Daniel's holding down P1, built himself a nice 1.8 second gap. And yeah, red races a little spread out up top. It's not terrible. We definitely got a nice little pack rolling from P10 all the way down to P15. Jump in here and take a look at this nice little train of cars. What a beautiful shot. What a beautiful shot coming right down that back straight.
Watching P23 and 24 duking it out here. Menzies, bit of Mercedes on Mercedes violence, but as they both caution up for a Ferrari who had to stop off track at turn 12.
Yeah, looks like Menzies all over the back of Meyer right there.
Yeah, and
Meyer
almost,
carrying some front end damage. I wonder if that's who made contact with the Aston Martin there.
Very well could have been. But it looks like Rodriguez getting disqualified.
Oh, did he speed in the pit lane?
He must have sped into the pits. That is not how you want to start the session.
I saw him make it to his box. I wonder if he shifted to second by accident and got himself up to the 80 kph.
That is very, very possible.
Unfortunate way to end an already unfortunate race.
yeah,
But
there's no question about that. That's one of the most depressing ends you can have to one.
I tell you what, it looks like we got a nice little battle growing. Looks like Honda's gonna try to make the move, get by that Aston there for P13. Can he hold on to it though? Because the Aston seems to go just a little bit wide, maybe just over braking just a little bit.
swallowed up and loses the extra position.
Possibly 3 cars getting by him there. Very unfortunate. But what a move.
Yeah, and moving just 3 places back from Candola there that you were just highlighting. Patches O'Houlihan has been fighting off Roberts in the McLaren 720 just for the last couple of laps here. Nobody seeming to gain any edge on the other guy. O'Houlihan doing a great job on the defense. Zitko doing a great job.
Sire all spinning out.
Oh, he sure does.
All from the top 10.
Yeah, we'll take a look back at that real quick, see what happened. Just to catch the tail end of it there. That's that.
Seems to be that same corner.
It's the same spot.
Yeah, it's taking names tonight.
Did nobody attend the coaching session on Thursday?
So doesn't seem like it.
Silence from the
Yeah.
corner. I wasn't able to. And as somebody who's been a part of a few of them here at SRA, they have been fantastic. They've
You know,
been really good.
I have not got the chance to join one yet, but I think I'm gonna have to dip in for Centerton
Highly
next week.
recommend. Yeah, Jan Roberts put on one for about an hour and a half, probably about a month and a half ago, and so Jan's got a background in aerospace engineering, and he really got into the science of how different effects on your aero, like how they affect your vehicle. And so what he did though that I found so fantastic was he took it a step beyond that and explained how to translate that into changing different variables of your setup in Assetto Corsa, which I thought was extremely helpful.
Well, I tell you what,
know,
that is something I could use. I definitely am not the best
hit
when
up
it comes to
Jan
making up
Roberts.
setups.
He's the man when it comes to, if you have any aero questions, he is the absolute man.
Well,
And
let me
so,
tell
yeah,
you,
he put on a fantastic clinic.
that is one of the reasons why I love SRA. It is one big family here. Everyone's always willing to help. Great friendships are made, even better racing.
No
If
doubt about
anybody is interested, simracingalliance.com, also discord.gg/simracingalliance. Links will be in the description of this video below. Please feel free to join 6 divisions. Lots of action, as it looks like we got a little bit of a battle brewing for P2 here, as Frostling is catching Schultz about a half second back, but that Honda seems to be relatively quick around Misano. I don't know if anybody else has noticed that throughout the week of practice.
Not particularly, but the Hondas do have a tendency to sneak up on you in terms of pace.
They definitely do. Definitely do. I gotta say, we're still sticking around that 147 range for our top 5, then dropping back to the 148s and 149s. It looks like it might be raining a little bit heavier. Plus, you got that heavier fuel load now. I know personally from experience in the BMW feels actually better with more fuel on this track in the rain. Kind of get that extra grip and turn in. Just seems to be a little bit more stable, but when it goes, it goes. And Frostling trying to make the pass coming up the inside there. Very, very
It's a
nice
better grip
move.
for the exit. That Ferrari twitching all over the place.
Yes, it was. What a pass for P2.
And now you have Rigatoni in P5 sneaking up on Master, Forsling, and Schultz in 4, 2, and 3 respectively. Just really kind of gaining some time on them, making it very interesting.
And he made quite the comeback after getting caught up there earlier in the race.
He did.
Looks like we got a nice little pack brewing back here still. Everyone running around the same pace. As we got Aoki and Condola pushing their way forward, making their way up through the field.
Yeah, and back in the midfield, Patches O'Houlihan in the Honda NSX, and Roberts in the McLaren just still battling. Reminds me of me and my teammate in our last race last week at Indianapolis, just constantly overtaking and passing and overtaking one after another. Looking like, not that these guys are on the same team, but they are just battling the entire race.
They are, and I tell you what, Brian making a nice little comeback too as well. He did pretty well in qualifying here. About half a second back on the Aston in front of him. Definitely pushing. He's about almost a second faster. A little under a second, maybe 8 thousandths faster.
Who's that, Bryant? Or,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Robert?
Yep. Coming up. See if he can make a move as we got a nice... Oh, he's coming down the front stretch here. He's gaining. He is definitely gaining. You learned that everyone's spreading out. We got a couple close battles here. We got Menzies also making another push back up. Coming in on that Coca-Cola car of Erlerin. times are starting to get quicker as Daniel sets a 1:46.5. I don't see a dry line forming just yet, but could still be possible. And it looks like we might have a battle for P2 here, as that Ferrari is trying to catch back up to that Honda. Was just about half a second back, but could have made the mistake there. He's dropping back down a little bit here now.
Yeah, that 1:46.5 is over 7 seconds faster than any other time on track right now.
Oof.
So Daniel's just holding it down in P1.
That he is, and Aoki
Got to be Captain consistent in these kinds of races.
Aoki trying to catch up here. Got himself up into the top 10, holding down P9 currently. Working his way up to Seedman. Lapping almost seems about a second quicker. Let's see if he can catch up there. He's all over the back of him now. As they come in.
Tony again in the picture-in-picture. Trying to fight off Master, and Master's just applying that pressure, but Rigatoni doing a really good job of just kind of holding him off, and has been for quite some time now.
Yeah, and as we get ready to cross the start-finish line here, seems like Aoki falling back just a little bit. Doesn't have as much grip as that BMW does coming through that first section. Not able to cut the curbs as much. But definitely has some speed on that back straight. Very, very impressive. As he is also holding off Bowler behind him as well. Just about 0.8 back. Yeah, it looks like Masters finally catching up to Rigatoni here too, as they work their way back up. Silver driver versus gold driver.
Yeah, Rigatoni, that's what I mean. He's been battling, just trying to keep Master at bay. Probably having to take a more of a defensive posture, which is perhaps limiting his ability to catch up to Schultz, Forsling, and well, certainly Daniels. But it's been a fun battle to kind of watch as he retains his spot and tries to get his spot secured on the podium.
Yeah, and Daniel's almost with a 10-second gap. Nice, comfortable little buffer between him and P2. But can he hang on to it? That's going to be the tell-all question here. And it looks like we got another little battle brewing towards the back. Everyone's getting real close together. They're catching up. These guys are working their way through the field right now.
Yeah, it's real exciting to watch how they kind of just keep migrating forward a bit.
Just a little bit each lap. Their pace, they're averaging about 1:48. You got your top two, Daniels and Fosling, around the 47 range, mid 47s. You got a couple 47s further down the field. I really think it all just depends on where you're braking at and how loose you get in the car on the wet. Like I said, it's very, very difficult to hold on to it, especially on that back straight.
Yeah, one of the more deceiving corners of any track in the circuit, in the wet especially.
But it does look like the BMW is trying to get around this Porsche right now. Just kind of doing everything he can, keep it on track. Slowly
and I'm sure he wants
closing
to
that
get away
gap.
from them pretty quick, because as you're talking about those lap times, he's lapping.
He is.
His last lap was as fast as the leaders, like you pointed out, and sitting behind these guys, etching into those wet tires is going to make it harder to replicate that lap time once he does make moves.
Yes. Yeah, and it looks like Master getting around Shabadoo. Can Rigatoni follow up? Wonder if Shabadoo made a mistake here. Looks like he did go off track just a little bit with an invalidated lap. Can Rigatoni capitalize on it though and gain up a little bit more time? Does not look like it. That Aston's just got a lot of speed coming down that straightaway. Pure power. Absolutely love it.
As we take a look at the picture-in-picture, though, from Rigatoni's perspective, it seems like he's gaining a little time on Shabadoo on the corners, but Shabadoo's starting to break away on the straightaways.
Yep. And we got Kimball coming up to Menzies here. About half a second back. See if he can make some time up. Really taking a lot of that curb. Diving down the inside. What a bold move. Holy cow, that is not the place I would have done that, but whew. That was a little intense to watch there. I thought that was gonna be a catastrophe for a minute. Oh, and he's getting a little sideways.
Move. Yeah, you see the downsides of doing that. Tires getting extra hot now.
Yes, they are, and Harris coming up right behind him too. It looks like someone going off track and
whoa. Doing a front flip,
yeah,
and driving into the ground,
just off into oblivion.
Disconnects.
Oh,
I'll give him
very
5 points for the front flip, though. I don't know how to do that.
very unfortunate for Menzies, but what a show!
Yeah.
Yeah, the first front flip
Yes,
of SRA history. Yep.
We had someone do a 360 at Nürburgring, and then disconnect. We've had a few drivers drive off into the sky.
Well,
we had one drive off at the. We were doing Laguna Seca, and they took the left for the corkscrew, and then just kept going.
I tell you what, I had that issue during our Indianapolis endurance race last week. As I was coming around to the pits, my whole game just froze up. It came back, but unfortunately I was already into the halfway in the pits, so I was like, oh, there's no turning back now, and we messed up a driver swap very easily. And as we could see, Honda
Speaking of driver swap,
coming right past as that Porsche slides right off the track there. Nice, easy move for him. Oh, he's only got one more position to go until he works his way back up to the top 10 here. Well, it looks like Aoki coming in, also trying to make a pass. Coming out of sector 1. Can he get it done on the BMW? Oh, going a little wide, little switchback. Let's see, can we get it?
going back to the midfield here in the picture-in-picture on Patches O'Houlihan. Not trying to focus too much on him, but he's dead smack in the middle of the field. I think that's a good spot to kind of get a perspective on.
That is definitely a good sign.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of consistency from that position back. Not many people making real crazy moves, but also not many people dropping themselves out of contention, out of the race.
Yeah, and I tell you what, it's nice to have that nice little open area. Clean air. You don't got to worry about, if someone spins in front of you, you got some time to make adjustments to it. You don't have to worry about someone braking a little too early. Maybe they brake sooner than you do and rear-ended them. It is nice to have that little threshold in between everything, but I'm sure he's going to want to push as hard as he can. His best lap time so far is a 1:48.1. Little off, I don't want to say off pace. It's definitely clearly doing him justice. But I think he can push a little bit harder here. I'd like to see him work his way up a couple more positions before the end of the race.
Yep, as would I.
Looks like we got another battle here. Bowler trying to make a move on the BMW driver. Falling back just a little bit though. That section's a little deceiving. The times start to get a little bit close and then they fall off as they come up to the straightaway. Race is definitely starting to get a little spaced out now as everyone finds their place. 12 laps into this.
Ooh, but we do have a good battle brewing between Fisher and Cryer, and it looks like Fisher, and he takes him, or Cryer takes him on the inside. Fisher kind of gives up the inside lane, but now Fisher's taking the inside on the next section.
And they're going side by side, swapping positions back
look
here.
At them go.
What a nice driving right there.
Cryer just trying to get his way back in contention in any way possible, but has to concede on the inside to the rear line. And Fisher just absolutely capitalizes.
Oh, it looks like T-Moz spinning out right in front of him, dropping back down the order again.
So they'll each enjoy another P1 upgrade. As Cryer seems to be favoring his tires a little bit, not wanting to get too hard on the brakes right now, and Fisher's just capitalizing on this. I feel like he knows this. He's capitalizing.
Yeah, nice little defensive move coming into the hairpin. As they're going to come down the back stretch, though, I think that Aston's going to go for a move.
Could very well be the case.
Let's see how they handle this heavy braking zone coming up. And they are ripping. Oh, he's looking up the inside, but it looks like he backs out just a little bit, which probably the smarter move. But can he get him coming through this last section here?
Cryer just trying to reach down into his bag of tricks and find anything he can to make a move. Fisher just doing a great job of maintaining the optimal line, defending him at every chance.
It looks like Aoki making his way back up as well, too. And we have a new fastest lap. Our P2 driver putting down a 146.3.
Yeah, Daniels just showing everyone how that was done.
That's P2 Forsling. The Honda.
Oh, no, you're right.
The Honda sneaking up.
Sorry.
Slowly
Look at that.
sneaking up.
146.327. No kidding.
Oh, and Rigatoni, I see him dropping down the order here. Take a look back and see what happened.
Oh, yeah. What happened to Rigatoni?
I think he just went a little wide. Maybe got a little sideways. Yeah, just that little bit of a tricky braking point. Like I said, very easy to slide the car out.
Yeah,
but it was a good save.
For
good save.
A pit stop at this point in time. His tires must be toast as he is taking a pit.
Yep.
Bring the pit
and the
back
pit window is open now. So Rigatoni kind of lucking out there.
Passes the Houlihan also opting to take the pit.
I gotta say, guys, what do you think? Undercut or overcut on this track? What do you think will favor?
You know, I think I learned my lesson last race, and I tried doing an undercut. I tried going in early, but the mistake I had made upon that decision was the fact that I had a clear gap until the car next, in front of me. So I had a bunch of clear air in front of me, and I opted to go into the pit a little early as soon as it opened up, to be entirely accurate. And I should have just taken advantage of all the clean air while I had the opportunity, and I should have opted for a later pit. So I'm gonna say wait on it if it's me on this one.
Yeah, definitely gonna depend on where you're at on the track.
Yeah, that's true. I say wait on it if you have clean air in front of you. Now, if you're grouped up, what have you, Josh, I think you hit on this last race as well. Then that's a different story. But hey, if you have an open range, keep it going.
Oh, these guys are in the pits.
Yeah.
I saw a tight gap. I was like, oh, look at this battle. I was like, oh, wait a sec. They're in the pits. Simple mistake. Oh, we got a bump going into the pits.
Oh, no.
Luckily didn't push him into the pit line, but still that bounce off the wall, it gave him just a tiny little bit of damage there.
And so you raise a very interesting question. If you get bumped in across the pit lane line at a speed, let's say you're going at it at 47, and somebody bumps you and you go across it at 53, how does that work? As far as
No, we don't do live stewarding, so I don't think there's anything that can be done in the moment. But I'm sure
wouldn't-
they can. The driver who was at fault for the incident would definitely be penalized in the following event.
Yeah, and
Got it. And that,
Like
yeah,
you,
that makes
you'd
perfect
you'd still
sense.
end up with a speeding in the pit lane. You're going too fast.
yep.
But if you were the driver on the receiving end of that, it would not be counted though.
Oh, you're still gonna get it. You're still gonna get it speeding in the pit lane, and then there's nothing we can do about it. And that's kind
Oh,
of what I
right,
mean
right.
about the whole like no live
Live
stewarding.
steward, right.
It's unfortunate, but I mean down the road, it's a future goal, and we're trialing that with the endurance events, and it's been going well.
Yes, that
But,
was very
that's
nice to
when
have in the endurance event.
that's when 6 divisions or 3 divisions aren't driving and 3 broadcasts aren't going on, so we have a little bit more hands on deck. But you know, it's a unique situation we thankfully have not had to find ourselves in yet.
Well, as Seedman coming into the pits here. Still have 5 minutes to go. Majority of the field has pit already. Except for our top 6. Who I would imagine. Now, if I was probably Masters and who's in the Porsche there? Krakoff? Not too sure how to pronounce that.
Cockcroft?
Yeah, if I was them too, I would probably dip in a little bit early. Maybe not Masters. Masters got a big gap between him and Daniels, but it would probably benefit them to try to go for the undercut here. Get in nice and early. Should be able to get in and out of those pits and come out into some clean air.
Hey, I have a
Houlihan
thought.
losing it just a touch and allowing Byron to go around him as he's been fighting him off for so long. Byron just extremely patient and makes his move.
With Daniels having as large of a gap to P2 as he does, is he gonna take tires for fun?
I mean, he's got the time. He's got a
Like if you've got
20
that kind of
25
pace on
second
fresh
time.
tires
Why
with
not?
full fuel, think about fresh tires with half fuel.
Yeah, and his times are dropping off a little bit. His last time was a 148, and even P2 was around a 149. It looks like he may have went off with an invalidated lap there, but I mean, you know, 26-second gap. Do you take tires? You know, if you have that opportunity,
I would.
I think I
Personally,
would
if
as
this
well.
was me, I would do it. It's kind of a no-brainer. Like, sure, you're 4 seconds of fighting, but at the same time,
Well-
and you can look at it in the other hand and go, still P1 in gold.
And I tell you what, Forsling came in pit early. He's worked his way through the field pretty dang quick. You know, a little over halfway through this race. And everybody else in front of him's got to come to pit. Let's see how many positions he can make up. If I had to take a guess, your top 4 are probably going to be coming in. Maybe the next lap. Might try to squeeze another one in there. I think it's a little risky in the rain. I personally wouldn't do it, but I'm very curious to see where Forsling, see if he can undercut a couple people here. Make up some extra
Just
time.
looking at the overall gap, like to the leaders and trying to do quick math in my head as they're changing every second, he's got a good chance of being right beside P2.
Yeah, it does seem to be that, and we're gonna watch this for a little bit here. I think he made a good choice by coming into the pits early. And it does look like Nate. How's our boy Rigatoni doing there? See, he's worked
So
his way up
Rigatoni's-
to P8.
Yeah, he's been on Stedman's behind for quite some time now, just trying to keep the pressure on, let him know that he's still there, he's not letting up, looking for any opening that he can find. But Stedman's not given one. So ahead of him, you have Aoki, but he's a little ways up a bit.
And you know what? And I tell you what, our leader comes into the pits, so he's coming in. He's not taking that risk of an extra lap. Everybody else Are they going to pit this lap? That's the question. That's the question. I don't think they are. Masters jumps him. Still has to come into the pits though. Oh, Daniel's back out. Nope. Masters still has to pit, and Cockcroft still got to pit as well.
Oh, and Rigatoni just goes wide around the corner. He's parked.
Yeah.
He's letting the competition go around him. He's doing the exact thing that's talked about in every driver's briefing. Whenever you do spin out, be predictable. And he's doing the honorable thing here, and he's hanging out, giving all those spaces up, as he knows that there's a heavy concentration of cars that was behind him, that he was doing such a good job fighting off for so long. He waits for his moment, and he's taking it now. That's gotta hurt. You know, that's just a heavy loss, especially after that halfway point. You've just been doing such a good job fighting everyone off, holding them off. It's not like, you know, he was 25 seconds ahead of the competition for so long, and then he just shrunk that gap to 2 seconds. He was just mere seconds behind the rest of the pack, and you know, to give it up like he did, that's gotta hurt.
That is very sad to see. Unfortunately, that turn, like I said, I thought we were going to see a lot of people come off. So as Masters comes into the pits here, who is going to get ahead? And I think I think that Honda's going to make his way up to P2. I think Masters made a mistake by waiting. I think he should have pit last lap.
Forsling making a move.
Masters could see himself down into P6 here.
Yeah. And here comes the Honda. Pass on the line.
Oh no. These live deltas to leader kind of throwing my brain for a loop.
It is just a little bit
Because the leader
there.
also updated to Daniels.
But there we go. Forsling moving his way up to P2. What a great strategy. Pit window is closed. Looks like everyone made it through. I don't see anybody dropping out of that. What a move. What a good play. I'll have to keep that in mind for tomorrow night's race. As we see, we got a nice little battle brewing here. BMW versus Porsche. And these guys have been doing absolutely wonderful here. Seidman's worked his way up. I don't remember if he got caught up in the incident on lap 2 or lap 3, whichever one it was. But Cockcroft is just working his way up. Split the BMWs. Can he make the move? That's going to be the question.
Fighting that Porsche up into the top 10, and Gualtieri in 10th isn't too far behind him. Similar to the BMWs, I believe they're the only two on the track tonight, but showing their worth. All 4 of them parked up in the top 10.
Yep. And I tell you what, that's my car right there. I love to see it. Absolutely love to see it. They are making some good time here too. Now it looks like Honda's gonna have to hold off Schultz too. Schultz working his way up in the Ferrari, possibly trying to make a move. Still a little far back, but can he catch up?
Definitely hungry to make positions back after earlier race incidents. Was up in that top 3, top 5 mix for a while.
Yeah, and we are really starting to see some gaps form between everybody. I think this is going to be our closest battle right now. McLaren versus Aston. Flower and Zitko. But I think that Aston's just got the power on the McLaren. He's got some good cornering, able to go over and eat those curbs. As you can see, the McLaren not happy about going off track there just that little bit. And the stability in the rain. Very nice to see it. Oh, and Flower's got a drive-through. Did not even see that.
That must be for track limits.
Gotta be track limits.
That's the tough part about the rain. Like you're sliding off and through a corner, and you end up wide, and you just kind of keep your foot down because you want to keep moving, even though the tires are sliding. And realistically, that's still cutting the track. Like you're gaining an advantage by doing that, and the game lets you know.
So
One
as I
too many of those, and
understand,
you collect a drive-through.
yeah, so it tracks it, right? So even if you see time not affected, or I forget what that default message is, no time gained, maybe is what it is, it's still counting those, and they'll add
Those
up over the course.
those don't matter.
Oh,
No
really?
time gains, those don't affect you, but the numbered track cuts, you collect 3 of those. Those are the only warnings you can get. Your 4th one will be a drive-through.
Gotcha. See, I thought I had read somewhere that the ones that, even the ones that said no time gained, they still like were counted or tracked or something. I misinterpreted it.
Little bit of breaking news as I'm getting Discord pinged in the background in the GT3 series chat. Our administrator Tyler James forgot to pit in the Division 1 race.
Oh, ho, ho, ho. Oh, that is our fearless leader. How does he forget to pit?
Oh,
Oh,
man. You know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. You'll love to see it, because this makes me now feel so terrible about, some of the silly mistakes that I had
oh,
made
and
in my growing
and I
pains.
tell you what, I'm seeing a lot of drive-throughs starting to pop up. We got Roberts, Flower, Chunk coming in with a drive-through now. Flower in the pit serving his drive-through. How many positions is he gonna lose because of it? Can he come out in front of
Man.
Rigatoni?
Oh, and Daniels throws a yellow flag. What happened?
Oh, did he? Let's take a peek back here. 30 seconds. See what's going on. Did he just get a little bit of sideways coming through this turn? I don't. Oh, yep, there it is.
Oh yeah,
Oh, there it is.
There
The
it
brutal
is.
one. The killer.
that's gonna hurt the gap a lot. But I believe he's still in position 1.
Still in P1. Gap dropped down about he only really lost about 5-6 seconds. Frostling
Got
is
lucky.
working his way up though. He's got a 146.3. Daniel's best lap is a 146.4, and with that mistake right there, that could do it. It could break that mental focus of being in the rhythm, which can be very hard to recover from.
There's no question about that. A lot of this game is just finding that zen state, that flow.
For sure.
That
And
it
the other less talked about factor is confidence. Like that corner, I'm sure he'll approach differently every time he comes up to it now for the rest of the race.
yeah.
Great, yeah.
He will not have the confidence to take his right racing line unless the track noticeably starts to dry up.
We got a nice.
And again, he could go right at it next lap and just bang it out, but
He
it's
could.
always there in your head.
He could. Is McDonald making a nice pass on Kimball for P23, working his way up through the field.
Yeah, and I was about to give a little love to the kind of the rear end of the pack as well. Parkinson has just been on Fisher's ass, like just waiting for an opportunity to capitalize. So far, Fisher hasn't given him one yet, but Parkinson is definitely counting his seconds until he can strike.
Yeah, and as you could see, the BMW driver P8 just getting into some lap traffic here. Trying to work your way through it, as safely and as best as possible, especially being this deep into the race.
Oh, and Master just kind of comes out of nowhere and overtakes Parkinson.
And I you know what? That gap between Daniels and Chunk, what happened here? Oh, sorry, I'm on relative. There we go. Still holding a 10-second gap. Yeah, I had to.
Yeah.
May have confused
I made the
myself
same
there.
mistake. Masters is in P3, and of course he overtook Parkinson as effortlessly as he did.
I tell you what, when we get down to the last couple minutes of this race, I think there's going to be some serious pushing going on, and I'm just taking a look. Daniel's doesn't seem like he lost any kind of confidence going into that turn there. Just put down a 146.7. But Forsling's he's gaining a little bit. Every lap that I see is just a couple tenths quicker each lap. Maybe just a little bit more consistent. Can he catch him? That's going to be the question. Can he drop that 10-second gap? Can Daniels hold on to it as our field is really spreading apart here? It looks like this might be our closest battle right now. Maybe just some lap traffic. Oh, Kimball goes wide. I apologize for putting the camera on you. That's my fault. Let's check in with Patches O'Houlihan, though, who's made his way up to a mighty P13. Looking damn good in that Honda.
A very strong drive from Patches.
It is a very
Just a calm, cool, collected drive. We haven't besides just tooting his horn, we haven't heard too much from him, you know, as in like overtakes, incidents, anything like that.
And that's good.
Sometimes an uneventful race is a very eventful race.
That it is. That it definitely is. It looks like Daniel's still being able to hold that gap right around the 10.5-second mark. Haven't really seen it go down anymore as our field really starts to spread out, and Daniel's making his way through some lap traffic here. Looks like we have a little bit of a spin as the back straight starting to look like a scene from Tokyo Drift.
Yeah, tires are definitely starting to show their wear at this point in the race, and not much left to hold on to going around that corner. But looking through everybody's positions at the moment, seeing our big winners and big not so winners, the car that was just on the main cam of Dan Meyer is our big not so winner at going down total of 14 positions so far. And our big winner, can anybody guess?
Patches O'Houlihan.
No.
Dang.
Close. He's in
Brian? Third. Oh, Master.
Oh, sorry. Patches is in third for most positions in. My mistake. Our big winner so far is Ren Aoki with 10 positions gained.
And I tell you what, he made his way up to P5 in that baseline racing Ferrari, looking very nice. It's a very impressive drive. He's been very consistent all race.
Exactly, and that's what you need. You don't necessarily need the fastest times, but if you can keep the deltas extremely close to each other, that's just as good.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that whatsoever. And I think our closest gap currently is Parkinson and Fisher fighting for P20. And it's a little bit of a stretch.
That's heartbreaking.
That is very heartbreaking. He was having a very good race.
Drive.
Very good race. But we'll see. He's got 13 minutes left. Servers drive through, and let's see if he can climb back up the field. Good news for Patches, though. Brings him up another position. Rigatoni another position as well. Very nice.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Rigatoni make a move on Patches if he can kind of keep that line down. But at the same time, I mean, Patches has been putting down some really consistent laps. So it's at this point, it'll be an interesting battle between P12 and P13, in my opinion.
Definitely will be. They are, well, Rigatoni is definitely catching up to O'Houlihan here. Gap is slowly dropping down. Currently about 2 seconds back.
Yep. Yep, yeah, he's going to make it interesting, that's for sure. And then towards the other back end of the pack, you have Meyer trying as hard as he might to catch up to Kimball and make a move on him. And he's creeping his way up there. Kimball seems to keep pulling away on the straights, and we've seen this a little bit between the Mercedes and the Ferrari. Pulling away on straights, getting closer up on the corners, and that seems to be the theme of the battle between Meyer and Harris right now as the race continues into the last section of its time.
Indeed. We got a nice little bit here. Coming back down. Can he catch him? Can the Merc put the power down and chase down that McLaren?
Yeah, and I'm really rooting for Stephen Brule. He's had a tough race so far. He's at 29 right now, but damn it, he's giving it everything he has. He's trying to catch up to P28, 27, Pellerin and Rogers respectively. And I know there's a lot of good pace in Brule. I think he's had a tough race here in the wet, but I'd like to see him, you know, kind of make a good show here in the last few laps and do a couple of solid overtakes.
Yeah, it looks like me just maybe getting a little sideways coming through one of these turns here. Just unfortunately going off track again, dropping down a couple positions.
Same with Ma.
Not too sure what happened there.
As Brule was in the last place there, he overtakes Ma, and I didn't catch the one that he just took right now in the white car, and that might have been Kimball. Didn't catch it entirely, but he does gain a couple places right there. Notwithstanding, has not overtaken the two guys he's been trying to battle. Now it's Fong and Rogers, I believe, but he's getting there. He's getting there.
That he is, and I'm very curious to see how this BMW is gonna see if he can put some pressure on Rigatoni as we come to the final 10 minutes of this race. Oh, and it looks like P3 having a little bit of a spin, getting a little bump too by Shabadoo.
Oh man.
And that lets Aoki come right up behind both
yes,
of them.
it does.
And looking at P3, salivating, looking for the overtake in that last corner.
Oh yeah, you know, Aoki's blood is just pumping right now.
Yes, it is. He has got to be very, very happy about that. Yeah. And as all this is happening, Daniel's setting the fastest lap with a 146.3.
Whew.
Just a little bit quicker. He's got a 146.310. And the Honda Forceling has got a 146.327. Just stole it from him as they roll on to lap 28 in this hour-long battle in the wet at Misano. Now let's see, can Aoki get Shabadoo here? That's going to be the question. He's pushing. You could see him push. They're watching the timer. They know they only got 8 minutes left. They're going to have to start making moves here very soon. The gap is close.
I hang out behind him for a little bit, and I go for it in the last 2 laps.
Yeah. Yep. I can agree with that. Learn his lines or let him make a mistake, just like he did there. Is Aoki going to make the push on him here? No. Oh, is the Aston
enough to make him miss his line?
Makes
Ren walks right through.
Stole the words right out of my mouth. What a smart play by Aoki. He's got to be happy. He's been up and down this grid all over the place, it seems like.
Yeah, really found his groove here on the wet track.
Yep, and we got our top 4 drivers, all gold, but Masters still, you know, may have dropped down to P5, but still got to be happy. Top silver drivers so far in the division. O'Houlihan Patches O'Houlihan, though, making his way up
Yeah.
to 12th place. He's got Rigatoni all over the back of him.
Right on him. And Rigatoni has considerably shrunk that gap. And as he tries to take the inside, I think he just might do it.
He may get him coming in down the straight.
Look at that.
He does, but you know what?
Goes around the outside from the inside back to the inside.
Could be a
And-
smart play by Patches, though, because he is sitting P2 for silver class. And I'm sure he's going to be very happy about that if he could hang in there for the last 6 minutes and
no
25
doubt about
seconds
it.
of this race.
No doubt about it.
But
Yeah,
man,
and
what
you
a...
gotta tip your cap to Rigatoni though. He had come back. Remember, about 8 laps ago, he had to sit out about 10 positions from that turn who has claimed so many lives.
He did. And we have seen a lot of trouble coming in that back stretch there, that heavy brake zone.
That's right.
As we can
And
see,
now Rigatoni right just on the rear of Byron trying to find a lane. And Byron's been working this whole time just to put a little distance between him and O'Houlihan, of which he had to put so much effort into actually making a turn and a clean pass on. And Rigatoni does. He goes around the outside, and Byron almost concedes the position, and also allows O'Houlihan to take the outside as well.
very, very interesting. Very, very, very interesting. But as you can see up top on your main screen, Master trying to get that position back, chasing down Shabadoo for P4. We got a little bit of a three-way battle going on here. Aoki still holding on to P3. Who is it going to be? Everyone's starting to pick up the pace here just a little bit as we come into the last 5 minutes of the race.
And with picking up that pace, Stedman picks up a drive-through.
Oh,
The BMW
no.
falls.
not
That'll put
another.
both of them out of the top 10 now.
Oof. That is tough. That is very, very tough. Hate to see my fellow BMW drivers dropping down the order here. But it looks like... Ooh, who's gonna get this here? Are they coming up on lap traffic here? Yes, they are. Master's still holding that gap within at least half a second range. Can he get up to Shabadoo? Can Shabadoo hold on to it? As Master's just all over the back of him now. Coming through the hairpin now down to the back straight. Who's it going to be? That Aston's definitely got the advantage in the straight line speed here, but Master's just filing in behind him. Nice and easy on the brakes. Can he make the pass towards the end of sector 3 here? Looks like he's going to have to back off there just a little bit.
Brule once again finding himself fighting back from P29. But still within striking distance to do so. You have about a lap to do it, maybe 2. Checking back in with O'Houlihan. Finding himself within a pretty hefty gap between Stedman and Candola. Stedman in the BMW, Candola also in the BMW.
And now T-Ma also picking up a drive-through as well, probably for track limits.
Man, they're just handing them out like candy.
Is that his second drive-through?
I am not sure.
I think that's his second drive-through of this race. Oh, Master's just all over the back of Shabadoo now. Really trying to push, probably trying to force a mistake. We got probably another 3 laps to go, maybe 4, as we drop under the 2-minute mark. Man, the time flies by.
Yeah, Daniel's already on lap 32.
Yep, still sitting up there with that 1:46.3. Very nice, respectable time. Seems like a majority of our gold drivers found their spot up in the top 12. We got Masters, who we're on right now, still trying to get around Shabadoo for P4. Currently our silver pole sitter, followed by Houlihan in P13, and the Beamer driver back down in 14th, as that rounds up your silver drivers there. But Masters, is he making the move? Can he get by him? Oh, they're going side by side.
Big switcheroo to force the car placement, and that's
Excellent.
just a smart overtake right there.
That was very, very nice to watch.
Cut off Shabadoo's ability to attack the apex on the following corner and just said, this position is mine.
Very, very good defensive driving. Now he's just got to hang on to it, getting his position back. But Aoki just 17 seconds ahead of him, at least.
Yeah.
But Masters
Making
still
sure
has
it
to be very happy. Aoki, though, man, what a drive tonight. What a drive. He has blown me away there.
Yeah. I have 3 drivers who have really impressed me tonight. Aoki's at the top of that list. You know, fastest pace notwithstanding. You know, he came back for how many places has he gained at this point? At 11, 12?
At least.
You know, he's and it's taken him all race. He's done it all race long, which means he was consistently slightly faster than the next guy in front of him, and he just kept capitalizing on that investment. You know, and then Rigatoni, he had a slip up. He was consistently 4th and 5th. Had a little bit of slip up, fell back about 15 places. Ended up climbing his way back. Now he finds himself comfortably at P11 right now. Well, Houlihan also just been dominating the mid pack, keeping those behind him from getting ahead of him, and always staying within a second of the guy in front of him.
Yeah, and it
just real solid racing.
And it looks like Rigatoni's trying to. Oh, as Bryant goes off track just a little bit, can Rigatoni capitalize on it? Coming through. What is this, sector 3? He does.
He does.
Makes a nice clean pass.
He's
brings him up to
P11
P11
for that opportunity on Byron. I'll have you know.
He has been.
And that patience paid off. And that's the theme of the night. You know, it's you gotta be patient with the wet track. You cannot force it. Just let the pace come to you. Find your rhythm, find your routine, get in that groove. Get that comfortable place where you can just lay down consistent laps. Like Josh, you had mentioned earlier about just, you know, keeping those lap times within.
And as we can see it, Daniel's across the line to finish 34 laps in the wet at Misano for week 4 of SRA, holding down P1. What a drive. What a drive. Had one little slip up today.
Dude.
And what a drive for Fossling as well, coming across the line in P2. Fantastic, absolutely fantastic drive here. And we got Aoki coming right down the last straightaway here. It's got to be a happy man. Got to be a very, very happy man. P3, rounding it up. Masters.
Yeah, that's got to feel good.
And it looks like we got a little battle here too. Up in P12. Is he going to try to make the move on them as they're coming in on their final lap?
Oh, he wants to. Stedman's looking for every opportunity he can get right now.
He is.
Rigatoni keeping him at bay.
but it looks like just too much of a gap. Not going to make it happen as they cross the line. And I got to say,
Fantastic show.
fantastic
All the way
drive.
all the way around.
P2 in your silver division, P13 currently. Patches O'Houlihan crossing the line to finish out his race as well. What a race, guys. What a race. Got a little spread out. You know, we got a little spread out today, but everyone, I got to say, they kept it very clean driving.
Yeah, and there was a lot of great battles no matter where you looked at on the field.
Yeah, and besides people making their own mistakes, I think I've only seen maybe 1 or 2 bumps. And that was really about
very
it.
Clean. Very clean from what I saw. Josh, what are your thoughts?
I think people should stop moving people into the cool down room while we're doing a broadcast, but I think that was a very good race.
Yeah.
D5 put on a very good show all the way up and down the grid, a very solid showing of what a little bit of practice can do in these kinds of conditions. It's very tough, but some lapping, some dedication, and you get that.
Well,
An hour long of consistency fighting, a few errors here and there, and that's inevitable. With things are going to happen, but no catastrophic errors, no major collisions, and a D1 race that I have heard a lot about but want to go watch.
I do. I cannot wait to take a look at that. Do we see anybody in the chat that we can pull up? Do we have any of our top 3 drivers that we could possibly get some words for?
Taking a look. No,
Look here.
I see Daniels.
Let's see if we could drag him on up here. Sean, can you hear us? Oh,
Sean,
he left. He left. All right.
Sean said, no, please.
D5 guys might be a little shy here. But I don't think...
I'm sure half of them still don't know that they're getting a broadcast made for their race, so...
That is very, very true.
A little bit of an extra surprise still.
I'd like to see Aoki get dragged up here. I'm not seeing him in race review 3. We do have a Rigatoni, Cockcroft, and a Houlihan, all 3 of which had a pretty outstanding race.
I tell you what, why don't you pull Patches up here? Let's see if we can get some words from the myth, the man, the legend, Patches O'Houlihan. Right. Pull him up down in here. Patches.
Hey.
How do you feel? What a drive, man. Yeah. What a drive.
You were battling the entire race. I
had a great time.
Take us through it.
I don't know, man. I just I wanted to practice a little more for this one. Just because the last race I kind of bummed both myself and Philip Menzies' race right at turn 3. So I put in some time, man. So I just wanted to kind of stick with the program. Ben Roberts, man, you were like behind me for like 5 laps and then went away for a couple laps, and then there comes my old buddy Ben again.
Well, I tell you what, Patches, it's got to feel good to take the P2 home for silver in your division.
Yeah.
But what a race, man. Even in qualifying, you're putting down some really great qualifying laps. I've seen you in the practice servers throughout the week. Really improving on your times there. Misano is not an easy track in the wet. Huge congratulations for your P2 and silver.
Hey, that's awesome. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me in. That's great.
Absolutely.
There was a lot of footage being shown on your end as you battled to maintain the pace of that mid pack, if you will. You know, the leapfrogging between you and a couple of guys. I know Rigatoni was involved in the mix for a while. Roberts was definitely somebody who was putting pressure on, but you seem to do a really good job of keeping your cool, keeping your pace, keeping your line, which really kind of separated you from the rest of the guys behind you. So all around, great showing, man. Great
Thanks,
showing.
guys. I appreciate that. It means so much. I really enjoy hanging out with you guys. So your compliments mean the world to me. Thank you so much.
Hey, absolutely,
All right.
man. Hey, thanks for putting on such a great show.
Yes, thank you
Yeah.
very much, and have a wonderful night.
All right, you too, guys. Peace.
Well, gentlemen, I don't see anybody else that we could pull up here, unfortunately, but what a race.
It was awesome all the way around.
Misano in the wet. A couple drive-throughs here. That backstretch definitely claiming a couple victims, but huge props to everybody. Very clean race.
It really did.
You love to see it. Big shout out also to our sponsor Armentario for supporting SRA. Much greatly appreciated. All of our sponsors as well that donate for the hot lap leaderboards and stints, all that good stuff. But guys, I think that's going to be it for Division 5, Race 4, Misano.
It was a pleasure, gentlemen. Thanks for having me.
It was a pleasure.
Blast as always.
As always. Josh stealing the words right out of my mouth. But with that, we will see you guys next week.
Catch you next week.
Stay tuned. We'll see you guys.
Ding by the dun, ding by the dun, ding by the dun, ding by the dun. Would you like an apple pie with that? Would you like an apple pie with that? I wicked, wicked king, making paper warmer, I would paper hat.